Hey, good afternoon, everyone. It's been a minute. Just want to be able to, share some thoughts. It's the beginning of 2022. As I stated, and I promised that we would go over quite a few things as far as what's important in 2022. As I'm looking to see this thing pop up here, as far as here he goes. As far as the broadcast. So, for those of you who don't know me, my name is Hiram Figueroa. I am in part of LinkedIn for the last close to 20 years. And just want to share some couple of things that's been on my mind. I did a couple of shows and I want to keep it very brief, but at the same time, see what I got here. I got somebody saying, "What's up, Diane? Good day. Happy New Year." So here's what's going on. I have a serious question for everyone, especially you prior military people. So here's my thing. I've been supporting the Mossack 3 for quite some time. So, I come to find out that the military justice system is just as corrupt as the civilian justice system. We're talking from city, state, county, and federal. So what is the difference between the military justice system and our justice system outside of the military? I come to find out that there's a certain individual that's in charge of this case, that did some unethical practices for this case that's coming up. And they kind of bypassed it because more or less, he's the second in command. So with these three individuals that I've grown close to, and at the same time with Major James Capers, I've come to find out that a lot of us military people that have served the military, we actually get screwed by our own people and our own justice system, to the point where, they don't really care if they eat their own, and they don't care if more or less you lose your benefits, you lose your opportunities, especially serving in the military. You're found guilty until proven innocent. So what are your thoughts on this? I found out that this individual, I won't say his name, but his name is Colonel Shaw. I just said it. Tough crap for him, shot caller for the for the justice system in the Marine Corps. Did some unethical things, and I won't be, speculating. What's up, Paul? Happy New Year. How you doing? But how is it that one particular person in the Marine Corps that has all this leverage can intimidate these JAG officers or these legal representatives for our own people, saying that, hey, if you represent these individuals and you win, you might not be able to get a promotion or another, your time is limited in the Marine Corps. I come to find out that that's pretty much corrupt. That's a shot caller making the shot, calling the shots, and really impeding the justice system. And I say that wholeheartedly because, I've seen a lot of individuals, including myself, who have been witnessing this justice system that have been railroaded due to a technicality, and they're screwed for the rest of their lives. Let's take Lieutenant Colonel Scheller, who got a other than honorable general discharge just to post something, virtually speaking. Our society has changed in so many ways that everything is pretty much, we're getting our ass kicked for the stupidest things. Now, keep in mind that we got something going on over there in Europe with Russia probably invading Ukraine. So when you think about these situations and these so-called criminal acts within the military and so-called war crimes that a lot of you individuals don't really listen to or get to hear, they're horrific because they're just speculating, and they sensationalize it into the media to the point where they paint a bad picture within our military. I, for one, have fought for my, I'll take my situation, right? I was pretty young. I was pretty stupid. I was a staff NCO. I was getting promoted as a staff NCO. I had a lieutenant that put a derogatory remark in my service record book, but guess what? I pulled it out. But I lost because I requested a court martial because I had access. So, the military justice system has a way of covering all the aspects. So in the civilian justice system, think about what's going on, innocent till proven guilty, understanding that, let me get a sip of this. Got some Jameson in this thing. So it's Friday. So this military justice system is really screwed for a lot of unfortunate individuals. So my story today would be uncovering the horrific backstories of the military justice system. How is it that we eat our own, we spit them out, we treat them like crap. Some of them don't deserve it, some of them do. It's a case-by-case basis. But with this particular situation, as far as these guys that I know from the special operations community, that 3 highly decorated senior staff NCOs, one is about to be retired, but he can't. And the other 2 are, in transition for a lot of reasons, are up against a system and a legal representative that facilitates the legal rights system to their benefit to make sure they don't win. So for me, I want to be able to share that with you to get a full understanding of what's going on. It's open mic, first of the year. If you have any questions, if you like this content, share it, like it. This broadcast has been brought to you by LinkedIn Perspective. It was founded a year ago. It's going to be a year that we started with this. Telephone number is 562-286-3111. And it's for you individuals out there who are constantly posting and more or less vetting people out as far as their profiles. But I want to be able to share something with you as well. I want to be able to put myself in a virtual status so you can actually see who I am compared to my LinkedIn profile. This broadcast is also brought to you by LinkedIn, and more or less we have the safety and regulations committee to make sure that things go correct. So it's not about just chatter, but more or less taking a particular content that you want to be able to talk about, but at the same time, I want to be able to share. If you look at the top of my screen, that what's up, Marielle? Yeah, civilian justice system and the military justice system. That's the topic for today. It's I'm gonna pick it apart. So I got these 3 guys right up there. These 3 guys, I know them pretty well. I've grown a deep admiration for them. So we're brothers now. So now I'm fighting for them. So I'm going to continue to fight for them until the cows come home. Until the Marine Corps and the justice system understands that we're not gonna give in. But most of you people that have been in civilian court, you understand that. But most of you that have been in the military, you would really understand that most of the cases in the military would never fly in the civilian court. They won't, based on circumstantial evidence. So in the military court system, circumstantial plays a big effect of you being convicted. It does. So what doesn't fly in the civilian courts flies in the military justice system based on conduct unbecoming in Article 32. So for a lot of us don't really understand that. You should do your fact finding, because this year alone, with so many things that are happening right now, you want to be able to get a clear understanding, especially where the administration is going. And people are not paying attention to their rights and everything else. I just want to touch on this particular subject, and I don't want to be dragged, long-winded, but What is your perception about civilian justice system compared to our military justice system? You know, there's a lot of misdemeanors, and stuff that would be considered a misdemeanor in the civilian court will be equal to a felony in the military justice systems based on speculation. So for a lot of us, we really don't understand that until it happens to us. So for me, I just want to be able to give some kind of content with that, because the military is just as corrupt and as political as the civilian justice system. Trust me, it is by far. And for you former veterans, it's more or less understanding how the angles play. Let me read this comment. My opinion is these operators were charged and based on a location and incident, and the commanding officer and the CO was keeping the job to get promoted. I agree. But the biggest thing I want to be able to share some light to the general public is that how is it that these type of incidents are magnified nowhere near to the serial killers, the human traffickers, the drug dealers that are happening in the civilian system? So these guys that I've grown attached to, and I've spoken to two other people, I stated that, you know, my loyalty would be with them all the way to the end, regardless. So my plight today is to bring an awareness, a public awareness to everyone else, to let them know that I have 3 special operators, high-ranking senior staff NCOs with multiple deployments from the Massa community that were in the bad place at the wrong place at the wrong time, but were kind of crucified, and their name was tainted, and people turned their back on them just because of the gossip. So they were pretty much painted as guilty till proven innocent. With the senior staff NCOs that they fought with, they automatically turned their back on them. With this Colonel Shaw, I looked you up, brother. Highly intelligent individual, knows the law very well. But guess what? You're using it for the wrong context. And you're exploiting these 3 special operators because you're making a shot calling decision with other individuals to win your popularity, to gain some strong influential power, to ensure that these 3 individuals never have their freedom, never have their benefits, never able to enjoy the rest of their lives because they're under a lot of duress. But I rest assure you, sir, that thank God for social media and thank God for freedom of speech, right? And freedom of religion and freedom of expression. And people like myself who were in the Marine Corps before you and before these special operators that really understand the traditions of what's going on as far as I'm speaking. Well, let me answer this. Hiram, what is the exact charge for each operator? Colonel Shaw has removed the case, UCI. So I'm just going to keep it very brief because I promised I wouldn't jeopardize his involuntary manslaughter. Okay? So there's manslaughter charges on this. So this is exactly what I'm talking about. But I won't elaborate anymore because I promised one of the guys that I wouldn't go so deep, but I would generalize it. But with manslaughter charges, if you look it up, there's a fine definition of manslaughter charges. So these individuals didn't commit that because they rendered aid to this individual. So pretty much, how can you be charged with manslaughter charges if you render aid for an individual, especially if it happened in front of your face? You know? So, correct. While manslaughter for self-defense, that is correct. So a lot of people don't want to understand that. I don't want to taint the individual that passed away. But let's put it this way. It takes 2 to create a problem, or 1 to start a problem, and 1 to finish it. So my responsibility as a veteran and a combat veteran from Persian Gulf and advocate for veterans and veterans' rights to make it publicly known there are some major discrepancies in regards to this trial. For me, I have a hard time digesting this, especially based on the current circumstances. And because the trial is still under deliberation and is under discovery, I'm not at liberty to be able to exploit everything in the protection of these three individuals, and out of respect for the individual that was was a victim of manslaughter. But rest assured this, there's more people in the game on this. So Colonel Shah, I respect your position. I respect your rank, right? You've been in the Marine Corps since the war, 30-something years. But along that line, sir, you're a subject matter expert in the legal system in so many ways that you've been able to pinpoint from a book perspective to pin certain circumstantial evidence on individuals that are probably innocent based on the circumstances. But you, my friend, have been able to take an opportunity to exploit this situation to your benefit and to show people that you have the capability to shut things down and shot call people and use the system, which is already corrupt with the military system, to your advantage to destroy these three individuals' lives. Now, rest assured, you don't know me. I hope you get to know me. I'd be more than happy to discuss this. I'd be more than happy to discuss this with the Commandant of the Marine Corps and the Sergeant Major of the Marine Corps, because it's important. And then it's in a way that is considered a war crime. That's kind of odd too, but that's only speculation because it's still up for discovery. So what am I getting at? I don't want to get in a tangent. I really want to focus on what I stated in the beginning of the topic was, what do you people out there, the general public, is this: what is the difference between a civilian justice court and the military justice court? I can tell you right now that for us, it's a shit show, and I want people to understand that we need to find some justice, not only for us, but for these three individuals. Now, mind you, this has been going on for 3 years. And I want to be able to say, wow, hold on just a minute. I'm playing music. So I just want to see what your thoughts are. Stevie B, what you got, man? So, regardless if the Colonel Shah has removed or not, the damage has been done and has been done. He's backstabbing dirtbag, and I promise you, I'm putting it nicely out there, respectable. I appreciate it, Stevie. Thank God you're putting it out there, because I got another a fine choice of words as well. And that's my point. That he's destroyed 3 men and their family. That's exactly my point, Stevie. So a lot of people don't understand until it happens to you. Is more or less, you don't know. This officer is CYAing. Correct. He's covering his ass. But at what point? If you think about it, right? This field grade officer who's been in the Marine Corps for 30-something years has only been in the legal system. He's not led a combat unit. I don't think he's been deployed in a combat situation. I don't think, from my fact finding, he's been exposed to the special operations community. The other factor is, if he understood the type of leadership principles and traits, he would understand that there's a bipartisan factor that plays significantly in this system, especially when you have 3 individuals who have signed their life away and have been out there in combat with severe combat PTSDs. I'm sure I'm not going to disclose that. They probably do that, and they're protected by the HIPAA law. But this happened off duty in a situation where it was like New Year's. Self-defense. You know, we have one individual that decided to do something, made bad business decisions based on emotion that caused the situation to be able to go awry. But for us, as individuals and professionals, you need to know this. Whether you're listening to it or not, I want you to be able to share this content, share it, like it, tag it. It's all about putting the honest truth out there for individuals to see that, you know, we should be taking care of our own and supporting our own. None of us should be going to court to a general court-martial setting and destroying 3 lives because you feel facts and feelings. You feel that they should be punished. But the facts remain, they're active duty military. The fact remains there's self-defense. The fact remains there were special operators. The fact remains this individual was a contractor. The fact remains that this individual that worked for the contracting agency was just as culpable and responsible for his behavior because this happened out of the country. The fact remains that they all have security clearance. In order for you to be able to be working for a contractor or be outside of CONUS, you have to have some form of a security clearance. All that stuff went out the window. So these individuals are covered under Article 32, and as well as conduct unbecoming. But we want to make sure that this segment is put out there for your not lack of understanding, but situation awareness. Let me read this. General Berger has shown his colors with Lieutenant Colonel Scheller. These operators will go to trial and walk with not guilty verdict. They will not have a recourse over the individuals who intentionally inflicted this emotional distress and professional blackballing. The officers who run this case will be removed and be promoted. I believe that. But, this is why we're putting it out there for individuals to actually see this and read this content. Let me get this. Nothing like the REMF, second guessing or obstructing facts to secure a potential promotion. That's my point, Paul. We're in a situation. Jesus Christ. I hate when I get the emails. We're in a situation, right, where somebody is going to have an opportunity to get promoted based on this situation. I'm not having it. I'm not having it. That's why I'm putting it out there. I'm calling them out. Sue me. Take me to court. I'm not doing any slander. I'm stating my personal and my professional and my veteran opinion based on my experience and facts. I've done my fact finding. I'm not a legal expert, but I can honestly tell you this. This is why I'm putting it out there for all you to understand is when at the end of the day, if you've been in the military and you know how the military justice system works, what is the difference between the civilian justice system and the military justice system? I can tell you they're both corrupt, but I can also add this. Military justice system is just as corrupt. It's just as corrupt as the civilian system. Why? Because it's pretty much a man-made culture. And when I say man-made, it's like this. People get promoted on people's unfortunate circumstances. Based on what? At the end of the day, ladies and gentlemen, whether you're in the Marine Corps or you're in any type of the branch for 4, 10, 15, 20, 30, 35, 40 years, your ass is going to get out and you're going to be Mr. or Mrs. Smith. And all that bullshit that you were a commanding officer doesn't mean shit because you're an equal civilian just like myself. But rest assured, because there's no justices on peace with the Mossack 3, I am putting myself out there to advocate for them and speak to them because, first of all, I don't want to jeopardize their case. Second of all, I'm supporting them because I'm a Marine, and regardless if I've been in the Marine Corps or not, or I've been in, let me take that back. Regardless of me not being active duty and I've been around and I've been out, I'm still a Marine and I'm loyal to this group of guys. So you can't buy loyalty based on just jumping in and trying to win somebody, or you have to prove your worth and you have to be able to support them, not by your mouth, but by actions. So when people make a bad business decision based on emotions, like I see this right here, and it goes back to the general who actually was in charge of the community, who was pretty much incompetent and was forced to retire. General Yu, I hope you hear me too. You know, I'd applaud you before because you were the first Asian major general for the special operations community. But after doing some serious fact finding and how you've been able to slander the entire community, I find it odd that you weren't able to get promoted and stay within the Marine Corps because you decided that your narcissistic self would be able to capitalize on the three individuals, and you pulled rank on them, not only on duty, but off duty, with the assistance of Colonel Shaw. So what you guys are doing in the military are creating a hostile work environment, and you're bullying based on your position. That's creating a hostile work environment in the military, which in civilian court, that would never happen because your ass would get sued. Civil suit. So for you individuals out there in the civilian world, I'm sure that if somebody was creating a hostile work environment and bullying, not only would you file an EEO, but you would file for stress and you would sue their ass just because. When the military, you don't have that. You don't have that. We have to take it up the ass. Excuse me. We have to take it up the ass and bite our lip. And because they're pulling rank, they're going to punk us, you know? And hold on just a minute. Let me get this. Mariel, well, it says some of them think that they have the rank for the rest of their life and destroy everyone around. That is correct, Mariel. And that's what I talk about, that our military culture sucks. You know why? Your discharge paper will say Colonel so-and-so, Sergeant Major so-and-so. But at the end of the day, when your ass is about to go to heaven, your ass is Mr. So-and-so, prior military. Here's my thought, right? I use this example all the time. Okay, Sergeant Major so-and-so, you work for the federal government. Guess what? Well, thank you for your service, sir. I see you served 35 years in the Marine Corps. You've done some outstanding stuff, but why don't you get together with this ex-gender or, millennial and show me how you do a spreadsheet. Now your identity is taken away because now you got to interact with, I don't want to say it in a negative context, your average person. So it sucks to be average. It sucks to be average on this. Stevie B, what you got? I know I had a great conversation with Senator McCarthy's office and Senator Cruz's office after my last meeting here. I wasn't a Marine, but I fought besides a Marine's brother for 11 tours. Well, thank you, brother. I appreciate it. And we all are brothers and sisters in arms, and we've gotten sick. We got to stick together, of course. And that's what I'm talking about. People don't realize that all branches are the same. Correct, Mariel. And that's what I'm saying. I'm using this as far as the Mossack 3 because it's the Marine Corps. But you're correct. There's plenty of situations in different branches. And we're still in the same branch out there. These guys could have taken NJP. We will never know this happened. They chose a trial by court-martial. Well, yes and no. Yes and no. So to answer your question on that one, there were certain individuals that were given NJP, but when NCIS did the actual investigation, they provided enough information to the convenient authority, and the convenient authority was the general you, and as any general would want to do, instead of weighing the facts, he fired a round downrange and said, let's go and let's get him into a general court martial. I will make sure they pay for it. So that's how that worked. Stevie B, what you got? The UCMJ covers us all. Correct. But a lot of people don't understand that, as I spoke in my last show with a retired NCIS investigator, a separate entity, they have jurisdiction outside of CONUS. And what they do is they're vetted through the federal government. They're mostly civilians, they're detectives, investigators, and they do their fact finding, and they collectively gather enough information that would take it to a certain level. So when it got to this level that was involuntary manslaughter, and they presented it to the convenient authority, which was the commanding general at that time, Commander General Yu. And your ass, you're retired, so you can't do shit to me either. But I'm not going to slander you because, as I stated in the beginning of this show, this broadcast is brought to you by LinkedIn and LinkedIn Perspective. This is to pretty much bring out the truth. It's not to create an insurrection, create hostility, retribution, or create any animosity to the U.S. government. But at the same time, to be able to share the truth and educate people in the general public for certain circumstances that are beyond their control, or they're naive about it, so people can get the full understanding of what's going on. So that's why I do this show. And at the same time, I'm supporting my Marine Corps brothers to the end, because that's how you do things. If you have an opportunity to utilize the gifts that you have, which I have today, is use the power of social media to be able to reach individuals, to educate them and put a seed in, a bug in their ear and say, I'm just interested about this case. If you're interested in this case, look up the Mossack 3. If you're really interested on what's going on to support these three individuals, reach out to your local congressman. We have a couple congressmen in Texas as well that are fully aware of this case, and support them and just put it on paper. The power of the pen is important. You're welcome, brother. So for me, as I promised, and again, I have to respect the three individuals because they're going through a lot. Excuse me. They have families. They have their personal lives. They have personal issues. They've been betrayed. They've been backstabbed. They've been ostracized through not only the special operations community, but people that have lived beside them, that have broken bread with them, that have shake hands and they've hugged them. And now 70% of them turned their back on them based on this case, and the truth is welcome, Hiram, always. Thank you. I'm doing my best, bro. And as a public servant, I need to educate people like yourselves to understand that it's important to understand that this can happen to you. This has happened to me for a number of reasons. First, I put myself in a situation because I was very ignorant and young. But the other thing, I survived this type of legal system because I knew my rights. And lucky for me, I was able to be a stellar Marine, but it cost me my career. So I really understand what these three individuals are going through. I truly understand that. I've been there, done that. I take full responsibility for my own actions. I take full responsibilities for the acts that I created. But at the same time, I am here to express to you and share to you that I've lived through it. I went through a special court martial. I didn't win. I did some time, but I have my honorable discharge based on Article 32. Article 32. That's it. You know? So that's why I'm imploring with you of how passionate I am about this case, how I'm passionate about expressing my concerns, how I'm really backing up my crap when people talk about this because I've lived through it. So there's a correlation with this situation, but not to the point where it's going to a general court martial, because that's a serious felony. That's serious time. We're talking Fort Leavenworth. We're talking about them losing their benefits, right? Their retirement package, their kids, you know, all this time they spend in the Marine Corps, close to retirement. What's going to happen to their kids and their wives? They're going to lose everything. Based on what? Because the convenient authority felt like I want to prove a point at their expense and not sit down and talk to them, even though they were the convenient authority has all the information to sit down there and have an in-house discussion. But I'm sure that that's different from when I came into the Marine Corps, you know? But this is a classic example of the military justice system and the military culture eating our own and treating them like crap. Civilians never understand that. You won't understand that unless you were in the military or you have a relative in the military. And for me, I take it personal, as I stated, because I've lived through it. I wasn't a saint, but I'll be very honest with you. Again, I must stress that I take full responsibility for my actions because I've learned from it. But that's why I'm a public servant and an advocate for all the veterans in the veteran community. And I really understand what these three individuals are going through and their families. So to protect them, and because they're in the legal system, it's important for me as a Marine that's been out for quite some time, that understands the culture, to put it out there and call them out because they're full of crap. Because now you're a civilian like I am. Mariel, for me, almost cost my career, but I assume my responsibilities. Never give up and stand all process. Are not easy. They try to destroy you in the process. I can say, like, now my military system is more difficult for females. Correct. And for the females, I really understand that because it's a double standard. It's a messed up situation. I was privy to the Vanessa Guillen situation in Texas, right? And that was like in the Fort Hood area. That was something that a lot of people kept a lot of secrets from, you know? And we're talking military sexual trauma, MST. We're talking about murder. We're talking about it, but we're talking about females as well who have been treated second-class citizens and they've been assaulted, you know, raped within the military. But the military's justice system has been able to protect them. So these are situations that a lot of people are not fully aware of what's going on. What's the moral of the story, ladies and gentlemen? Here's the moral of the story. While you're enjoying your weekend, you're having a great time, there's somebody out there that is less fortunate than you are. People like yourself say, I support the veteran community. Well, guess what? That's cool. Put your money where your mouth is and fight for the Mossack 3. Look it up on YouTube, Google it, and reach out to your local congressman or senator and put your money where your mouth is and put some pen and paper on it and send a fire email down there. The more this becomes public, the bigger opportunity there is for pressure to have this court case dismissed. I don't play around with people's feelings and I don't play around with people's lives. But I got 3 lives that now I have put so much sweat equity into this. There's no turning back. But hold on just a minute. Maria, believe it or not, the armed forces are for males, and we are in the world of men. Correct. You hit it on the head, and a lot of people, a lot of alpha males in the military are in denial. Here's one thing I can honestly tell you. I'll give you a good example. I just want to get off this subject real quick. So I was stationed in Okinawa 40 years ago, right? So in Okinawa, this is my first duty station. The ratio of men to women was 21 to 1. So for every woman, there was 21 to 22 guys, 25 at the most. And that's in the south side of the island. And in the northern part of the island, it was 30 something to 1. So can you imagine that time where things were not exploited about rape and everything else, how women were treated? I can tell you stories about that. But women were treated as second-class citizens, and women were also seeking opportunities as well. Let me read this from Stevie B. The military has always had the double standard, which is correct. I've been down these roads as well, and thank God I have advocacies that just like all of you in my corners, and I made it. Well, thank you, brother. I appreciate it. So back what I'm saying, and I was in the Marine Corps, and I've seen guys commit suicide for this stuff. Because the girl would dump them, and because we were overseas, it wasn't social media. There was a lot of suicide. There was a lot of rape. There was a lot of violence involved. I can honestly tell you that. And women were treated second-class citizens back then. So I'm sure, based on Mariel's point, it hasn't changed. The only thing that's changed is social media, the situation awareness, and a lot of things that have been able to be put out in the public. Also, if we are more academically preparation than them. Correct. Women are smarter when they apply themselves. That's a fact. I'm not being chauvinistic. So for a lot of you individuals, right, think about this as I'm talking about civilian court versus military justice system. When we're talking about a hostile work environment in the military, you can't sue them. If you got a hostile work environment, they're doing and bullying your ass in the military because they're pulling rank, you're screwed because there's no recourse. You're just going to have to take it. But in the civilian court, you have options. You can sue their ass. And then the other thing is this, and the last question was the recent question about NJP. The situation is once you've been, punished once, they can't do it again. That's called double jeopardy. So some of these individuals that witnessed this crime, they had some NJP, but they can't be tried again to save their ass. Change only in papers. I know in a few cases of that. I'm sure you do. But these individuals that I've spoken to, right? They're good men. And they've been able to do a service. They're all back, but now they're screwed. They hold their head up high. They do what they can. They're keeping it together for their families. But their hands are, their lives, are held by the military justice system. Thanks to people like Colonel Shaw and Major General Yu. Nobody's perfect. But the great thing is I'm not in the Marine Corps. Can't come up to me like that. I'm just stating my opinion respectfully. I'm not slandering you because I've done my research. And what I'm doing, I'm being a social media mouthpiece for these three individuals. As far as the three individuals who have served in the Marine Corps, who have done more crazy stuff and dirt than you'll ever see in your life, that have seen enough crap there for a lifetime. And this is the thanks they get based on a bad situation. For you individuals play stupid games, you win stupid prizes. You know? Not a thought out process for this, but that's how the military justice system and the military culture runs for those individuals who are still in the military. This is why a lot of you individuals have a hard time going through major transition, because you can't break away from the systematic system that you've been molded into. Because now, when you're not part of the military culture and you're an individual, you've lost your identity, you've lost your following, you lost your acceptance, you've lost the ability to be validated, and now you have to reinvent yourself. So what I'm doing right now is sharing my perspective on this, and y'all are welcome to more or less put it out there and challenge it. But as being a public service, you do things because it's the right thing to do. You're not seeking anything in return. You just want to do something that's right and it feels good, because life has a funny way of repaying it back to you. The man upstairs has a funny way of repaying it back to you. And that's my philosophy behind that. So a lot of people need to understand that for a number of reasons. It can happen to you, or you know somebody has happened to them. But what are you doing to be part of the solution or be part of the problem? There's a lot of things that are going on as far as that solution. And in the civilian world, man, you can post bail, right? You get incarcerated, post bail. You can hire a lawyer. What else you can do? You have the right to remain silent. You don't have that in the military. You know? You don't have that in there. Thank you for bringing that out, because that's my personal biggest battle today. Thank you. You're welcome. In the military, there's no such thing as, hey, civilian world, I'll read you your rights. Well, I have a lawyer. Don't talk to me. Post bail. Don't talk to me. File for stress. I'll file EEO complaint. Marine Corps doesn't do that. They keep things hush-hush. Not just the Marine Corps, but any branch of the service. They like to keep things in-house because they're protecting their own interests. It's a different world when you have the enlisted and the officers' world. And especially when we're having officers that are JAG officers, or they're considered the convenient authority. They can do whatever they want. They lose a touch of reality and they think they're superhuman and they're a god and they were playing with people's lives, but they're just a freaking officer. That's us being the CEO. At the end of the day, you take a shower like I do, you go to the bathroom like I do, you drink the same type of water I do. The only difference is it's just a matter of choices. You choose to be an officer, I choose to be an enlisted. And hold on just a minute. Stevie, I don't understand the manslaughter charges in survival mission. It makes no sense. It's a hostile environment. Correct, Stevie. If you look up on YouTube on the Mossack 3, there's different segments on that, and they can be more explained to you for your leisure, so you can understand that. So, as I was stating, civilian court, you can post bond. Arrested authority can give you a ticket. They can put you in arrest. You can remain silent. You can get a lawyer. You can do all kind of things. The military owns your ass. In a situation like, you don't have the right to remain silent. there's a lot of stuff in the military justice system that overrides everything in the civilian justice system by far. So the moral of the story, ladies and gentlemen, is this. When you do, I highly recommend you look on YouTube and look at the Mossack 3 and find out who these individuals are. And look at and do some soul searching so I can, by you doing your fact finding, it could support a statement. But if you like this content, share it, like it, tag it, and give it to someone that can really understand it, or take this content and share it with your local congressman. I'm cool with it. My number's right there. My profile's right there. All I'm doing is freedom of speech. What we have fought for. We got a situation in Russia right now with Ukraine it's about to go down. And what's the difference? We're here in the United States and we're exercising our freedom of speech and freedom of religion. Freedom not to wear a mask. Freedom not to take a shot. All those. Because we live in the land of the United States. Land of the free. Who's done that for you? People like myself who served. And people like these three guys right here. These three brothers that served in Iraq. I think Iraq and Afghanistan for sure. So don't thank me, thank them. What I'm doing is the right thing to do. So if you like this content, share it and like it. Last thing, I want to personally thank everyone that's been supporting this content. Feel free to put some more information right there. As I stated, I'm going to continue just focus on specific content that is very legit and is very current. This one is very current and is very personal to me. And I'm going to state that very much because I've gotten to know them. We're all Marines. We're all veteran brothers. And I got their back. And I'm tired of the bullshit, dude. Seriously, this is straight out bullshit. And that's why God has given me the opportunity to utilize the power of social media and give me a gift to be able to reach out to the masses, to put it out there. So with that being said, it's Red Friday. Remember, everyone's still deployed. Hold on, I got somebody. What's up, Renee? Hope you're feeling better, brother. Stevie, I'll read you. I understand the definition, yet being in the war zone gets you shot and fighting over your way out. I've seen troops that brought up charges like this. Makes no sense in the war zone, peacetime zone. There's a big difference, and I'm just saying, I know this. I know you know this, but I just want to put it out there. You're free to it, brother. So with that being said, Simplify always beside you. Remember, Red Friday. Remember, everyone's still deployed. If you like this content, share it, like it, tag it, make your comments known. This is in support of the Mossack 3. Won't be the last one, But if you see that pictures right there on the corner of my, this would be like boom, boom, boom. My military right, or the military left, looking up the screen. That's my military left with the guys. Those three guys right there, take a snapshot and look at them. Those are the guys I'm representing. So enjoy your Friday. Simplify, always beside you. Peace out. Pays to be a winner.